EA released a 17,000 word deep dive into Dynasty in College Football 25, and I'm going to do my best to summarize it for you. Here's everything you need to know about Dynasty in College Football 25. Recruiting is going to be a huge part of this game. You're probably saying, yeah, no shit. But the level of detail in Dynasty is going to keep you really busy. Each season, there are over 3,500 high school recruits, and remember, this is going to be as realistic as possible. So they made sure to account for the talent edge that some regions have, like South Florida when it comes to skilled players, quarterbacks in Southern California. Every recruit starts with a list of schools that they're interested in, and as recruiting continues, recruits narrow down their list to a top 8, a top 5, and a top 3. And your goal is to stay in those top groups whenever they narrow down their list. When you set up your board, keep in mind that you can only have 35 prospects active at one time. There's also recruiting hours, which is basically your currency on how to spend recruiting actions each week. Teams with higher prestige will have more recruiting hours each week, maybe up to 1,000, whereas smaller programs may only have up to 350 hours. Each prospect has a max number of hours that you can spend on them in a given week. The default is 50 hours, but it can be increased to a max of 70 hours if you have one of the abilities activated. More information comes later on these abilities. When scouting a player, you'll only be able to see their star rating, height, weight, hometown, position, things like that. Then each time you scout a prospect, you'll reveal a limited amount of information about them. Now it's time to talk about how you pitch to recruits. Every prospect has 3 motivations they care about, which is known as their ideal pitch. Then it's your job to see if it matches your program. So there's 3 stages to work through. Stage 1 has 5 recruiting actions you can take: offering a scholarship, searching social media, DMing the player, contacting friends and family, and sending the house. Stage 2 is the pitch type. This occurs when a recruit narrows down their list to a top 5. And there's 2 different pitch types that you can use. A soft sell, which is a moderate amount of influence, and this is best when you have an idea of what a recruit is motivated by. And then you also have a hard sell, which is more for when you know their ideal pitch or if you're just hoping for the best. After figuring out your sell, it's time to put together the actual pitch itself. Each pitch is a collection of 3 motivations, and there are 20 pitches total. They give an example of the Sunday Bound pitch, which sells a recruit on your school being a championship contender, its conference prestige, and your school's track record of sending players to the next level. Now we have stage 3, the close. This is when you want to bring someone in on an official visit, and they must have a top 5, and you have to have offered them a scholarship. Also note, you can only host 4 recruits in 1 week, and scheduling an official visit will cost you 40 recruiting hours. However, it doesn't go against the hours that are allocated to just that recruit, so you can continue your normal recruiting of that prospect in the same week of their official visit. EA also added a feature called Deal Breaker to the recruiting side of things. This is pretty simple to understand. Let's say a recruit's deal breaker requirement is immediate playing time. If you can't provide that, then you'll be locked out. Deal breakers can also lead to players entering the transfer portal, but don't worry, you'll have one last chance to keep your players from officially entering the portal. Speaking of the portal, yes, that'll be in the game, and it's going to be a mess just like you see how it is in real life. EA said that the window to land transfers is pretty small, so make sure you're on top of this if you're looking to build out the rest of your roster from the transfer portal. Keep in mind, you are required to be at the 85 player max limit on your roster. If you're over that, it's time to persuade some recruits to transfer. Signing day. There are 2 of them, both the early and national signing day, just like in real life. Player progression. Players will automatically process their attributes and physical abilities. The bulk of this happens in the offseason, and then all players have one of 4 development traits. Normal, which is the most common, and this just means players progress at a standard rate. Impact, which means the player has higher upside and can be a difference maker. Star, and now you're talking about a potential NFL player, and these guys tend to be fast learners. And then Elite, which is the best of the best, making a statement the moment that they arrive on campus, and they have potential to be an all-time great. Now, here's the thing about the development trait. This is hidden during recruiting, and it's only revealed on National Signing Day, unless you have one of the special abilities activated, the Mind Reader ability. Mental and physical abilities. So players can have up to 5 physical and 3 mental abilities. Managing wear and tear. You can't run every player into the ground. You have to actually manage reps and assess risk for injury. Customized conferences, we have that as well. When it comes to moving teams around conferences, Dynasty really is yours to control. And what I really like about this is when you move a team from one conference to another, their uniforms will automatically update with that new logo of the new conference. And then also the logo on the field will automatically update as well. That's just a nice level of detail. Coaching, you have 3 options. You can start as a head coach, offensive coordinator, or defensive coordinator. You also have 3 options to choose from for your backstory. And keep in mind, this will determine what your coaching tree looks like. And you can unlock additional skill trees, but you cannot max out everything. Coaches also have abilities, more than 50 that you can unlock. Each ability has up to 4 tiers, and every tier has a purchase cost associated with it. Coordinators also have abilities, however, you don't have control over which abilities they purchase. It's automatic, and all of the abilities on your coaching staff stack together, increasing the effect of an ability. Abilities owned by the head coach have the greatest impact. Every time you start a new coaching job, you'll be asked to sign a contract with that school, and that contract will have a set contract length and performance expectations. Just like in real life, failure to meet those expectations will result in bad things happening. Maybe you get fired. Schools' expectations are determined by the school's current team prestige and program standing. The better the school, the higher the expectations. It's simple. There are 4 types of contract expectations. You win X number of games, win a conference championship, make the college football playoff, win a national championship. All coaches also have a coach prestige letter grade that ranges from an A+ to an F. Coach prestige is reflective of your ability to meet contract expectations adjusted for the school and the role that you have. As a coach, you progress as you play the games, and as you play, you will complete coach goals that award XP. And then once you earn enough XP, you'll level up your coach to a maximum level of 50 and be awarded coach points. Coach points can be used to upgrade your coach's abilities. There are 4 coach XP goal categories that can be a single game, weekly, season, or career goals: draft, game, recruiting, and stats. So this ranges from things like pro draft goals, getting a player drafted in the first round, individual game goals that range from a single play resulting like an interception or a rushing touchdown, recruiting, of course, your success on the recruiting trail, maybe you sign a 5-star prospect, and then stats like being ranked in the top 10, having 4,000 passing yards as a team, winning a national championship, things of that nature. There is a coaching carousel where coaches can field offers from other programs. Head coaches can also use this to replace their staff if they lose a coach for whatever reason, maybe a contract expired, a coach leaves to another school, and you can also fire coaches. Here are some other details. You'll have to keep an eye on grades. Most grades update dynamically throughout the season, while some update only at the end of every season. But it's important to keep tabs on your grades throughout the season and how you're trending, because a slide in your grades could trigger decommitments from verbally committed recruits or a sudden transfer portal exodus at the end of the season. Some other fun details include helmet stickers. For schools that use them, like Ohio State and Florida State, you'll start the year with a blank helmet. Then as your players perform throughout the year, the helmet's going to fill up. So if you've made it this far, I didn't actually cover everything. There's just way too many details. There's a ton to dig into for Dynasty, and it's going to be incredible once this game comes out.